So I have this $7 laser pointer I bought at Walmart in the tool department here. And, look at that.
There it is.
Here, find it. It's really good. It's not good. Oh, it doesn't show.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
This is very sad.
So this is I-core, 2-core, 3-core right here. Benoit Air Base, that's where Tom and I were stationed. Saigon, Tansanute Air Base. Bentuli, Canton, I think Captain Winslow Reether landed an F-100 at Canton one day. 6,000 foot runway with an F-100. Try that. This is 4-core. Very, very low population in that area.
Oh, right side.
Oh, there we go. Okay. This is what we flew. Tom and I were in the 531st Tactical Fighter Squadron, 3rd Tactical Fighter Wing. Hans flew more missions in Southeast Asia than all other aircraft combined. More than 15,000 P-51s in World War II. There were 4 wings, and those wings generally had about 490 aircraft. On station, there were 238 lost during Southeast Asia. If you were anybody in Vietnam during our time, so you don't know about Ramrod. Ramrod was our squadron mascot, a 12-foot long, 70-pound rock python. Every once in a while, Ramrod would die, and then somebody in Vietnam would hear about it and bring us another. So this is the one we had when Tom and I were there. Some pilots before our time had taught Ramrod to be polite to pilots. As long as we called him, he had no idea. As long as he was not provoked, he was polite to pilots. So this was Ramrod, and we were famous for Ramrod.
Oops. Not too far here.
We were soldiers once and young. So this was a very unusual load. This was not our normal. This was rockets and 750-pound slick bombs. Ordinarily, we carried Mark 82 500-pound high-drag bombs and unthinned napalm, and we did our work close to the ground. But that was that. So this is a little bit classroom-ish, but if you like paper, PowerPoint slides and references, that's what this is for. These 2 documents tell us about close air support. The second one, the top one here, is 360 pages of acronyms. The acronyms have their own acronyms, so that's heavy reading. This one is 2 pages. You might want to look at that. But all of these words here say that communication and coordination are what you need to pull off close air support. Close air support means the bad guys are close to the good guys, and the good guys need help. Air interdiction is the same. It's in the same documents, but it means there are no friendlies nearby who might get hurt. Okay. Most of our missions, probably Tom would agree, most of our missions were air interdiction, but I flew a lot of close air support missions as well, and it just happened. It was just the luck of the draw what kind of mission you wound up with. So to illustrate command and control and coordination and communication, here's Firebase Khartoum. Tainan Mountain is down here, Benoit's off the screen over here. The Cambodian border is right here, very, very close. So Khartoum had been under assault for more than 2 months, no airway support, and they were dying. They needed food, they needed ammunition. Somebody thought it was a good idea to send 2 first lieutenants and 2 F-100s to suppress the fire so that they could get 123s into this runway. So this was the problem. These woods here, this is looking south. This is the north end of the runway. So the 123s had to come over this. This was filled with bad guys shooting the 123s. So they had to come over here, throw a parachute out the back of the airplane. The loadmaster had to throw a lever just at the right time so it would drag the pallet out the back of the 123, flying about 3 feet above the ground, and then slide in a big cloud of dust to stop on the runway. But these guys out here in the woods didn't like that idea. So my wingman and I came through here with CBU. Hope nobody has tender feelings about CBU. It was very effective, 500 knots, 50 feet above the woods. We came through and put a lot of CBU into the woods. Those who survived were displeased by our behavior.
Those are cluster bomb units?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, cluster bomb units. So we came back and put more, we had a forward air controller, and we came back and put more 500-pound hydrants into the woods, which further inflamed the passions of the people in the woods. And then we started doing just basically loops, coming back to strafe out front of the 123. So the 123s were waiting for us to soften it, then they came in and we strafed out in front of them to try to suppress the fire more. So as I came up one like this, under me, so I'm like 3,200 feet, inverted, trying to pull my nose down to get out to strafe in front of the 123, a U2 came just like this, right under me. I could read the lettering on the visor of U2's pilot's helmet. I wanted to roll out and chase him and yell at him on guard, but I couldn't because there was a 123 coming and I got to get back down the straight. The FAC didn't see the U2. My wingman didn't see the U2. The U2 did not talk to the FAC, did not talk to me. That was a failure of joint force control at theater level. That U2 did not belong at our attack altitude while there's an attack going on. Okay. So we damn near lost 2 guys, and my mother would have been really depressed because I was one of the guys that we lost. So, what happened there? Got going forward. So that was bad control. There we go. That was bad. That was bad communication and coordination. So, an example of good communication coordination was, let's see if it goes forward. You want to do a couple more? Can you do it? Or try it? There we go. Okay, so, everybody, are you familiar with the tunnels of Coochie? Notorious tunnels of Coochie. So, this is Coochie tunnels. It's actually Coochie camp was there. It was a massive camp, and we were there. Tom wasn't, said he didn't really get to do it that many times, but I guess it was just the luck of the draw. We were the night fighters of 3 and 4 Corps, first lieutenants. Flew the night missions of 3 and 4 Corps, off the alert pad, and I just, through luck, I wound up at Coochie every week or 2 at night. They were all night missions. Intel never understood where did all those soldiers come from. Massive attacks, night after night after night. Well, nobody understood until after the war that the tunnels of Coochie were under this, and this is Coochie. The tunnels were much larger than this, went out into the Iron Triangle, up to the left there, all the way down to through Saigon, out down the Mekong Delta, out to the bay. All these tunnels. They had an entire city under Coochie, had a hospital, they had massive emplacements for everything they needed to fight the war. And they fought the war quite handily. So I'm out there leading a mission off the light alert pad at night. And as we check in, Spooky is there, starts throwing flares as we check in with the FAC. So we were limited because there was a gun emplacement across the Cambodian border. We always had to fly at the east side of the camp, north-south or south-north. So this night, Spooky's up north throwing flares, wind is out of the north, weather is not good, overcast down toward the east side of the camp, clearer north, but overcast, raining, scud coming through, just a lovely evening in Vietnam. So I make my first pass, hit the FAC smoke with napalm on the fence, and I'm coming up and I'm dodging flares, dead flares that burned out, coming up, try to get up in the air. We did this, we all did this. Had to come up into the clouds, come back, turn around, come back out. I had a conversation with the FAC. Listen, this is our backyard. We're the night fighters of 3 and 4 Corps. We're over here every week. We know the target. I got a fire going on the fence. We don't need flares. He says we have to throw flares. So I make another pass, the wingman makes another pass. I come back up through the flares, almost getting as I came around, I was more insistent with the fact the second time. Said, we really shouldn't have these stories. You're gonna wind up with one of us having to eject, having eaten a flare down the intake, and then that's gonna make your life much worse. So please stop the flares. No, sorry, can't stop the flares. This big, booming, deep voice comes over the radio. Stop the flares. The fact says, yes, sir, we'll stop the flares. So that was an example of excellent communication from the unseen community. Stop the flares. So on September 12, 1968, I've been in Vietnam about 3 months and a week, except for 10 days I lost in Thailand when I wasn't able to fly. I got stuck in bad weather in Thailand. So, yeah, there we go. So, 12 September 1968, I take off with a wingman who's so junior, he's even junior than me. I've been there for 3 months. We take off, I get a radio call, so go change, divert, go to a different target. And the different target is right there. This is a modern map of Vietnam. There's nothing there. There was less than nothing there in 1968. So we get diverted. But if you notice, this is the South China Sea, this is the Gulf of Thailand, and this is Canton. The Army is up in here. There's nothing down there. So I'm thinking, well, number one, the VC don't take prisoners down there. And there's no way to rescue somebody down there. So if I had to get shot down there, probably not coming home. So I lead my wingman down, we drop under the clouds right down there, that little point of land, and come down under the clouds. I say Ramrod 2-1, check 2. And immediately I hear my classmate, Andy Fornell, yelling on the radio, make it to the water, make it to the water, make it to the water. I look up and I see an F-100 like this, a few thousand feet up, gentle left turn, and another one joining on him, going really fast. That's Andy. And right in front of me, canopy comes off the lead hunt, seat comes out, seat separation, chute drags out, chute employs, guys in a chute, and you hear this horrible sound. Any of you flew someplace with people ejected? Bee-you, 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 bee-you. That's an emergency beeper on the shroud on a parachute, so you know somebody's in a parachute nearby. So now it's been less than 15 seconds since I checked my flight in on the FAC frequency. Haven't been able to talk to anybody. And now there's a guy hanging under a parachute. I go around, go south, turn east, set up a racetrack. Andy comes around the corner and joins me. And we watch this guy coming down in the parachute. He turns off his beeper, so I know he's an experienced guy. He turns off his beeper. And we're coming around as we're up north of him. He picks up his survival radio and he starts talking on the survival radio. He's as calm as I am talking to you. He starts talking, and I recognized his voice. I knew he was a 63 grad, 3 years ahead of Tom and me. And I knew that he was a tough guy, and I knew that he was jump qualified. He'd been through Fort Benning for jump rings. And he said, there's a hooch directly under me. People are shooting at me from the hooch. I hear the rounds whizzing past me and impacting my parachute canopy. I rolled in, selected all 4 guns. The F-100 had 4 cannons, M39 cannons capable of about 1,500 rounds per minute rate of fire. We didn't have 1,500 rounds, but so you could select 2 guns or 4 guns. I selected 4 guns immediately, rolled in, and that would give us, we fired a 2-second burst, so that would put 200 rounds into whatever I was shooting at in 2 seconds. We carried an alternating load. Every other round was armor-piercing incendiary. Every other round was high explosive incendiary. The incendiary was white phosphorus, which burns like the surface of the sun and sticks to whatever it touches. So 20 millimeter cannon shells that explode are dangerous. So I rolled in immediately, called in hot on the hooch. The FAC had a decision to make because he and I had not had a conversation. So ordinarily you have a conversation between the FAC and the guy leading the fight. So we had not had time to have a conversation. He could have said, no, Ramrod, pull off cold, because we haven't really talked about it yet. But he had good situational awareness. He said, you're cleared high. That was important because the man in the chute was drifting down over the hooch, getting closer to the people who were shooting at him, and he's getting closer to the ground. I have to get my airplane under him, on the hooch, shoot the hooch, not pancake into the rice paddy 12 o'clock long over the hooch, and not hit him with my shrapnel from my 20mm cannon fire. So I had no time to tarry. If he had said, you're not cleared high, we would have gone through and cleared and shut it. So that was excellent conversion then, because that fact was on the radio, working those radios, trying to find somebody to pick up a buzzer.
What kind of time span are you talking there?
Let's see if this will go down. There we go, yeah. So, I'm sorry.
What kind of time span are you talking right here? From,
Well, from the time I checked my flight in to ejection was 15 seconds. And then that was the one, so this was like 2-3 minutes to get around to the north side again. And I rolled in out of the northwest on the hooch. So very, very short time. So that fact was on the radio already because he's got a man in a parachute. And he's already working that, but he had enough situational awareness to realize he needs to let me go. And he did. So later, these are the people who were the pilots in that day. The man on the ground was General Fogelman.
You know, everybody knows Joe Fogelman, but when I talked this morning and said the guys that, taught me how to fly were guys from Vietnam, Lieutenant Colonel Andy Fornall was my squadron commander in F-15 school in 1982 and 1983 when I learned how to fly the F-15 for the first time. Andy was my squadron commander.
People still call it wheels?
Yeah, I think so.
Call it wheels because he had a bad Honda 90 motorcycle accident. He actually had bad trauma and got very backed out of Vietnam. But he came back strong. He was a great fighter pilot. Lieutenant Colonel Bob Bays of the Silver Fox took over the ResCat mission from me. And he was, I didn't know who he was. He was a new guy on the radio, didn't recognize his voice, but he was clearly a professional. Really, really good. So I felt terrible when I left. There was no information about a pickup for Captain Fogelman on the ground. But I felt good that the professional guy I was leaving behind as the leader of the next flight. He was in an F model, front seat, so clearly he was having his in-country checkout time. The next week, he became our squadron commander, Lieutenant Colonel Bob Basil, one of the greatest squadron commanders of all time. And later, of course, 4-star General AFHF chief. So, again, that was an example of excellent transition by that forward air controller to get all that done.
Can I take 45 seconds and interject something? So Gary and I are sitting in Ruth Chris Steakhouse with Jerry Wallace, some other F-100 pilots. We're having dinner, celebrating Torahone or something. And I spotted Ron Fogelman over on the other side with Miss Jane at his anniversary dinner. So I said to Gary, does he know this story? And Gary said, I don't know. I said, why don't I tell him this? Gary said, I don't want to bother him. He looks like he's having a good time. Gary walked across, told Ron about the story, and Ron knows about the story now. I mean, it's just an amazing set of circumstances.
Well, that was just what we did. That's it. That was just what we did. So I didn't talk to anybody about it when I got back to Benoit. Nobody knew about it. Tom didn't know.
I didn't know about it until last week.
We just didn't talk about it. Nobody ever talked about it. This happened in the 90s. I had never talked to anybody about it between that day and sometime in the 1990s. Any other pilot in my position would have done exactly the same thing.
So, it's a stupid question, but the pilot was successfully recovered?
He was eventually recovered and became
Chief
chief of
Staff.
staff. And that's another really, really long story. Briefly, the Cobra had just arrived in Vietnam. It was brand new in Vietnam. They were directed, Cobra pilots were directed not to land anywhere but an Army base. Never land outside of an Army base. 2 Cobras came to this, and one of them looked down and picked up Captain Fogelman hanging on the skid and rescued him.
Yeah, they just had the story about the guy who got the Congressional Medal.
Right,
He picked up four
right, yeah.
observers and a Cobra.
Thank you.
Quick question,
Yes.
just out of curiosity. What the hell was U-2 doing at 3,000 feet?
I-
Taking off from Thompson Hood, probably
Yeah.
just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a U2, no, it was a U2.
U2.
U2,
Yeah,
yeah.
you said
Yeah.
U-2, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
U2.
yeah, yeah.
And he was headed
They're parked on the other
Cambodia.
side of the runway somewhere, they,
Yeah.
you know,
And I-
it's like Turkey or something.
I don't know, but I wanted to yell at him, that's for sure.